So we are dealing with the question of May 2019, question 3C, May 2019, question 3C, which says that Beta Limited deals in the manufacture of a detergent named Surfing. A recent survey undertaken to determine the percentage of residents who use Surfing revealed that out of 500 residents selected randomly, only 10% used Surfing. In order to increase the usage of Surfing amongst the residents, the company undertook the advertising campaign that cost shillings 2.5 million. A survey undertaken after this campaign revealed that out of 600 residents selected at random, 15% used Surfing. Now, determine whether the advertising campaign increased usage of Surfing amongst the residents. And then you use significance level. Then you use the significance level. So as we have always said, when you come across a question of this nature, the first thing to know, it is coming from where. Now, this question has come from the topic we call sampling theory, and specifically hypothesis testing. And as you have seen, the question is about the difference between proportions. The question is about difference between proportions. That is where it is coming from. Now, dealing with this one, step number one is to develop the hypothesis. Step number one is to develop the hypothesis. Step number one is to come up with the hypothesis. And the hypothesis we say is that the null hypothesis will be saying the sample proportion 1 is equal to sample proportion 2. That is, when you look at the question, the first sample was found to have 10%. So 0.10 is the same as 0.15. 0.15. The alternative hypothesis is that sample proportion 1 is less than sample proportion 2. That is, 0.10 is less than 0.15. It's less than 0.15. Now, from there, the next thing that we need to do is bring the significance level. Now, the significance level, the examiner has already suggested to us that we should use alpha as 0.05. 0.05. The next step that we need to take is called test statistic. Now, test statistic, when we are dealing with proportions, we always use Z. So we are going to have Z as sample proportion 1 minus sample proportion 2. Sample proportion 1 minus sample proportion 2. You divide by the square root of, sample proportion 1 into brackets 1 minus sample proportion 1. Now this one, you divide by sample size 1, that is N1, plus sample proportion 2, 1 minus sample proportion 2. You divide this by sample size 2. So when I come to substitute so that I get Z calculated, I'm going to have 0.10 minus 0.15. You divide by the square root of 0.1 into brackets 1 minus 0.1. You divide the first sample. The first sample had 500 residents, 500 plus 0.15 into brackets 1 minus 0.15. You divide by the second one had 600. And 600. So work out that and then you will give me the answer. Work out that and send me the answer. can see the answers. 2.52, 2.52 minus 2.52. Okay. So after that now, we are supposed to have the division rule. We are supposed to have the division rule. The division rule. So division rule we can have it somewhere here. Division rule. So because we are talking of less than, it will be on the lower side here. And when we are on the lower side here, this is to reject null. You reject null. And then when you are here, it is to accept null. And then Z critical, which will be negative. We know at 95% is always minus 1.65. Then from there, we will make the conclusion. The conclusion will be to say we reject null. Since so we reject null since Z calculated is less than Z critical. That is minus 2.52 is less than minus 1.65. Then what does that mean? What does that mean? The question had asked us to say whether there is or whether the advertising campaign increased the usage. Yeah. So meaning the advertising campaign increased the usage. Increased the usage. The advertising campaign increased the usage. So that is how it's supposed to be handled. So if you are okay, you can allow me to proceed. If you are okay, you write the word okay so that I proceed to the next. So boy is okay, Udo, Shako, Abel, Ajerin, Charity, good, Paswell, Aisha. Yeah, I think we are okay, Najma. So we can therefore proceed. Let's go to part B. Part B of the question. I have two competing companies, A and B, that deal in the sale of computers, have an equal share of the market. Both companies intend to increase their market share through adoption of three different media of advertisement, namely newspapers, radio, and television. The payoff table for the two companies showing the gain or loss of customers from adoption of the different media of advertisement is shown below. So we are given that, and now we are required to get the optimal strategies of companies A and B and the value of the gain. Value of the gain. So the question at heart is May 2019. Question 1D, and that question has come from game theory. That question has come from game theory. So when it is from game theory, what we need to do to solve, the first thing is to come up with the payoff matrix. With the payoff matrix. So we have three participants or three strategies. The first one is newspapers. The second one is radio. And then we have television. And these are strategies of company A. That is company A. Then here we have newspapers. We have radio. And then we have television. And this is for company B. That is for company B. So we just copied the figures as they have been presented. This is 40. Then we have 10. And we have 100. Then we have 50. We have 25. We have 30. Then we have minus 17. Minus 10. And then we have 60. Then we have 60. From there now, we say the first step is always to extract the maximum of the columns. So the maximum here is 100. The maximum here is 50. And the maximum here is 60. So you extract the maximum of the columns. You extract the maximum of the columns. Then this participant who is on this side applies a strategy we call min-max. Min-max strategy. He applies a strategy we call min-max strategy. In using min-max, it means he will go for the minimum of the maximum. The minimum of these maximums is which one? The minimum of the maximums is, yeah, good, good. I can see 50. So we go for that. Then on this side, we extract the minimums. The minimum here is minus 17. This is minus 10. And this is 30. And then this person here is using max-min strategy. Max-min strategy. That person is using max-min strategy. So in using the max-min, he will go for the maximum of the minimums. And the maximum there is which one? 30. Good. So this is the maximum. So because the selections are not similar, we will say the game does not have a saddle point. The game does not have a saddle point. The game does not have a saddle point because these two are not similar. Then the next thing is apply dominance. Apply dominance rules. Apply dominance rules. When you apply dominant rules, we dominate larger columns. We dominate larger columns. And we dominate smaller columns, smaller rows. We dominate smaller rows. So when we don't have a saddle point, and you can see the game is not a 2x2, then we just go straight to apply dominance rules. And the dominance requires we dominate larger columns and we dominate smaller rows. So let's start with columns. I want you to look at these columns, the three of them, and tell me which column its values are greater than or equal to the values of another column. Of these three, which column has greater values? Which column has greater values? Yeah, newspapers. Good. You can see newspapers. Yeah, newspapers is greater than television because you can see this 10, this 40 is greater than this. This 10 is greater than this. 100 is greater than 60. So if it is newspapers, then you drop this. You draw a line that way, meaning it is dominated. From there, check the column that is smaller. Sorry, not the column, the row. The row that is smaller. The row that is smaller of these ones that have remained. So which one? Radio. Good. I can see you have identified radio. Radio is smaller. As in this 25 is smaller than 30. And this minus 10 is smaller than 60. So we do away with the smaller one here. We do away with that. So down here, we proceed and say, the game reduces to, 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 so we clear this side so that the game reduces. So when we reduce, we have newspapers here. Newspapers. And then television here. And this is because of company A. Then on this other side, we still have newspapers. Newspapers. No, not newspaper. That is radio. That is radio. Newspapers was brought out. So we have radio. And then we have television. That is for company B. And the values that have remained, we have 50, 30, minus 17, and then 60. So with that, I told you we have three steps that we take. One is you subtract. We are now solving using algebraic method. You subtract the smaller from the higher. So here I will talk of 50 minus 30, and the answer is 20. And then for this row, I will talk of 60 minus 17, and the answer is 77. The answer is 77. Then for the then from there you interchange. You interchange so that here I have 77 and here I have 20. After interchanging, you have the probability. You have the probability. So the probability is 77 out of 97 when you add these two. And this other one will be 20 out of 97. Out of 97. On this other side, you do the same. You subtract. You subtract so that you have 50 minus 17. That is 67. 67. Then 60 minus 30 is 30. Plus 30 is 30. Then from there you interchange. You interchange, whereby you bring that here and 67 there. And then finally you get the probability. Probability will be 30 out of 97, 67 out of 97. That is how we get the probabilities. Then from there, you seek to get value of the gain. So value of that gain, will be 50 times the raw probability you take 50 times the column probability, which is 77 out of 97, times the row probability, which shows 30 out of 97, plus you take the next payoff, minus 17 times the column probability of 20 out of 97, times the row probability 30 out of 97, plus you come and take this one, that is 30 times the column probability here, which is 77 out of 97, times the row probability huko, which is 67 out of 97, plus the last one here, 60. You will say 60 times the column probability, which is 20 out of 97, times 67 out of 97. So work out that and give me the answer. Work out that and give me the answer. Work on that and give me the answer. I'm waiting for the. Hey, how come this one is not? Sorry, my computer was not showing me the messages. Sasa nimeziona. 36.18. Which one is more? Yeah, 36.18. 36.18. So for purposes of uniformity, because we are getting different values depending on how we have rounded, let us agree to make it 36. Let us all work with 36. Let us work with 36. So the interpretation of that, is that company A who is on this side, company A will gain 36, while company B will lose 36. So that is how you interpret those results. A positive is a gain to this person on this side, and a negative is a gain to this one, while a positive is a loss to this other one, that is B, and a negative is a loss to A. I have already explained, Najma, nikasema, if the value is positive, it is a gain to whoever is on this side, and a loss to this one. And if it's negative, it is a gain to whoever is on this side, and a loss to this one. Is that okay, Najma? Good. For more, you can refer our notes. You will see what we call conventions. You will see what we call conventions in game theory. They will help you interpret that. Good. Let us proceed now to question number 4. Question number 4. Highlight 2 differences between transport and assignment models in linear programming. You highlight some differences So we are answering the question. We are answering the question of May 2019, question 4A. May 2019, question 4A. And the question is from linear programming. Linear programming is from the topic of linear programming. And specifically, we are asked to talk about differences. We are asked to talk about differences. We are asked to talk about differences. differences between transport model and assignment model. We are asked to highlight the differences between those two. So the first thing is number of sources and destinations need not be equal. Need not be equal. But on the other side, number of sources and destinations must be equal. The number of sources and destinations need not be equal when you are in transport, but when you go to assignment, they must be equal. The other thing is that equality is in terms of demand and supply. In terms of demand and supply. Equality is in terms of demand and supply. But on this other side, equality is in terms of sources and destinations. Sources and destinations. Equality is in terms of sources and destinations. Another one is that a source can supply to one or more destinations. To one or more destinations. But on this other side, a source can only supply to one destination. To one destination. You can only supply to one. That is called one-to-one mapping. We normally call it one-to-one mapping. Then a destination can receive from one or more sources. You can receive from one or more sources. But when you're on this side, a destination can only receive from one source. Can only receive from one source. Those are four differences that we can cite about Have you finished copying? If you have finished, type yes. Paswell, Abel, Dora, Siobua, Shira. The others, Winter. Yes, Patrick, today, Waboy. Yeah, I think that is good. Ajerin. So let us proceed. The next question is of, again, May 2019. Question 4. That should be B now. Question 4. And that is coming from linear programming. Linear programming. It's coming from linear programming. And when it comes from linear programming, it is asking specifically applications of shadow prices. Applications of shadow prices. Applications of shadow prices. So applications are the uses. One, it is determination. Determination of the maximum price. Of the maximum price that can be paid. The maximum price that can be paid to acquire an extra unit of a resource. So the shadow price helps you to know what is the maximum price you can pay in order for you to acquire an extra unit of a resource. Number two, it helps in determining determination of the maximum profit. Of the maximum profit that can be earned. That can be earned. That can be earned as a result of buying and using an extra unit buying and using an extra unit of a resource. An extra unit of a resource. An extra unit of a resource. The next one, number 3, is determination. Determination of maximum loss that can be suffered. That can be suffered as a result of not buying and using, an extra unit of a resource. An extra unit of a resource. An extra unit of a resource. So those are the 3 definitions that I gave you in the normal class. And are we okay with that? We are okay, type the word okay. Shira, Dora, Najma, Odo, Ariana, Abel, good. So we are okay. We are very much okay. Therefore, we seek to proceed Okay, the next question is part C, that says the table below shows the number of years of experience of 10 salespersons and the representative mean monthly sales realized by the salespersons. So we are required to get the coefficient of correlation and interpret the results, and then using ordinary squares method predict the mean monthly that will be realized. Okay. So as usual, we need to know where the question is coming from. Where the question is coming from. And this one is coming from the topic we have been calling regression and correlation theory. Correlation theory, and specifically is least squares. least squares method. So when you're asked to tell us the least squares, the first thing is to give us the function. Function is y is equals to a plus bx, where b is equal to n sum of xy minus sum of x sum of y. You divide this by n sum of x squared minus sum of x. You square that. That is how you get b. Then a is sum of y minus b sum of x. You divide this by n. You divide by n. Then coefficient of correlation. Coefficient of correlation. Coefficient of correlation. Coefficient of correlation. R is given as n sum of xy minus sum of x sum of y. This one you divide it by the square root of n sum of x squared minus sum of x. This one you square it, and then you get to the brackets times n sum of y squared minus sum of y squared. That is how you get the then from there we say draw the analysis table. You draw the analysis table. The analysis table where we have column X. X will be the experience. I have 6, 4, 2, 10. Then we will have Y. Y is 180,000. I have 150,000. I have 80,000. I have 500,000. Then I will require a column of x squared. X squared, I told you, you square. Obviously, this one is proceeding. Let me continue here with my table for the interest of my space. After 10, I have 7, 4, 6. 7, 4, 6. 7, 12, 8. 7, 12, 8. So I will have my totals here. After 500, I have 190, 100, 190,000, 100,000. Then I have 200 to 20, 200 to 20,000, 600,000, and 200,000. We will also need to have a column where x is squared, So this will be 36, this will be 16, this will be 4, this is 100. We continue that way. That is for x squared. You will also have a column for x multiplied by y, So when you multiply several of them, you will have that 6 times 180,000 is 1,008,000. 4 times 150,000 is 600,000. This is 160,000. This is 5 million. You continue that way. And the last column you require will be column of x squared. Sorry, y squared. So 180,000 squared. This one now, we have no choice than to use the calculator. 3.24 times 10 raised to power 10. So that's how we have no choice than to make use of the calculator. Those figures are very high. So are you ready? We use the calc. Are you ready? You ready to use the calc? Because these figures are very high. Okay, good. So we said you press mode until you see regression, REG. You press the number that is below it. Then you see LIN. You press the number below it. And then now we start entering the values. So utasema 6,180,000 M plus 4,150,000 M plus 2,80,000 M plus 10,500,000 M plus 7,190,000 M plus 4, 100,000 M plus 6, 200,000 M plus 7, 220,000 M plus 12, 600,000 M plus 8, 200,000 M plus. So I hope you have been able to follow. Now for you to get the totals, you press shift button number 1. So sum of x is number 2, so press 2 and press equals. So the total of x, I think I have 66. And then press shift button number 1. We can play forward to double, we get sum of y as number 2. And then you say equals. This is 2,420,000. Then shift button number 1. We are looking for sum of x squared, that is number 1, and then equals 514. Then from there, shift button number 1. You will play forward to where we have xy, which is number 3, equals. You get 20,110,000. Then shift button number 1. You will play forward to y squared, 1 equals. And this one is a good figure coming out as 8.458 times 10 raised to power 11. So if you have agreed with me, type agreed. If you agree with me, type agreed. If you have not, you let me know where we are disagreeing. Good. Yeah, I can see we are in agreement. I can see we have agreed. So if we have agreed, let us now proceed to do the substitution. Let us substitute. So I told you after the table, now you do substitution. And we start with R. So according to our formula, these are, they are how many values? They are 10. So according to this, it will be 10 times sum of xy, which is 10,000, minus sum of x, which is 66, times sum of y, which is 2,420,000. Now all this you divide by the square root of, 10 times sum of x squared, which is 514, minus sum of x, that is 6, you square, you multiply by 10 times sum of y squared, which is 8.458 times 10 raised to power 11, minus sum of y. Sum of y is 2,420,000. You square. You square that. And I told you that one you get the answer from the calc this way. You press shift button number 2 now. Shift button number 2. Then you will play forward where you have R, which is number 3, and then you say equals, and I'm getting 0.916, which you can call, yeah, or you can leave it that. So the meaning of this is that this shows a very strong direct relationship. A very strong direct relationship between experience experience and mean monthly sales. Between experience and mean monthly sales in the above case. In the above case. You must say always in the above case because it's not everywhere. It is in the above case that is applied. Then from there now, we proceed and get the value of B. So B, according to the formula we had written, was N times sum of X, Y, which is 20, 110,000, minus X, sum of X, 66, times 24, 20,000. So you divide this by N, which is 10, times sum of X squared, which is 514, minus sum of X, 66 times 66. And that one, you also go for it in the calc. You also go for it in the calc by saying shift button number 2. You replay forward where there is B, which is 2, then you say equals. And you get 52,780.61. And because you're using the calc, we can afford to give the full figure. That. Then the value of A is sum of Y, that is 2,420,000 minus B, 52,780.61224 times sum of X, which is 66. You divide this by N, which is 10. Again, you go for that in the calc by saying shift button number 2, you replay forward to where there is A, 1 equals minus 106, 352.0408. Eliana, I'm not getting N. I'm not getting your question, what you have written. Or you're asking whether N is the first value in calculating A. No. What I've written is what should be there, sum of Y minus B, sum of X divided by N. Look at the formula that we had written earlier. Tell me whether you are okay. So the next one is prediction. We are told to predict. We are told to predict with 15 years of experience. With 15 years of experience, mean or expected mean monthly sales, will be minus 106, 352.0408 plus 52,780.61224 times 15. So work out that and give me the answer. The formula that I wrote for A, ilikuwa na N. If they had an N, that was a mistake. The formula for A should have been sum of Y minus B sum of X divided by N. That's the formula. Is this what I wrote? The others, is this what I wrote? Okay, Jude says yes. So Eliana, then maybe you miscopied. The others are saying yes. So hii ndio sum of y. Hii ni value of b. Ndio tumepata hapa. Hii ni sum of x 66. Na hii ndio n hapa. So Eliana, maybe you miscopied. The correct way is this one. Are you okay now? Okay, as we wait for Eliana to respond, what you are saying dots are faint. You can't see. Maybe now as I write the next one. Okay, so you are giving me the answer. Good. Abel 685 357. 685 357. 0.1428. At the same time, Vati, you need to check on your gadgets. If you're not seeing clearly, maybe you need to check on your gadgets. Ikikusumbua sana, you can restart it. You can restart. Because I think the others are getting the others, are you able to see clearly? Let me get to know. Are you able to see clearly? Yes. I can see the S's coming. So Vati, maybe you can check on your side. The others are okay. Good. I wish to proceed to question 5 now. Question 5. Outline 4 merits of using the project evaluation and review technique to plan and analyze a project in an organization. Plan and analyze a project in an organization. Okay, that is good, Eliana. Okay. So we are now on the question of May 2019. Question 5A. And that question 5A has come from what we call network analysis. Network analysis. And in this one, we are being asked to cite advantages of parts. Advantages of parts. Advantages of parts. One provide a graphical display of the project, thus enabling quick and easy understanding enables quick and easy understanding. It enhances planning and controlling of projects. We are in a position to control and analyze our projects in a better way. Number 3, it can be applied in any project. Anywhere in any industry, you can use facts. Enables conduct of what-if analysis. It helps us to conduct the what-if. What-if is also what we call the sensitivity analysis. So when we have when we have this method, it helps us in knowing or in doing the part analysis. The sensitivity analysis. So part B of that question says that a food processing company intends to install a computerized order processing system. The activities to be carried out during the installation of the system and their time estimates are given below. So we have that. The above time estimates were analyzed using a computer, and the results of the analysis were as follows. So we are given that. We have the earliest start, the latest start, the earliest finish, and the latest finish. So the first thing is to get the expected completion time and the variance of each of the activities. So that question again has come from network analysis. The question is network analysis, specifically what we call maps. To deal with this, as you know, we prepare a table where we have the activity, then we have the expected time here, expected time, the expected time is given as A plus 4M plus B. You divide this by 6. We call it T. We call it T. Then we have the variance here. And the variance is given as B minus A. You divide by 6. You square, and that is called delta squared. So when I begin with activity A, I have 7 here plus 4 times 17 plus 27. I divide by 6. Someone to send me that answer. Someone to give me the answer. Be fast, time is moving. Good. I can see 17. Then on this other side, it will be 27 minus 7. You divide by 6. Then the whole of this is square. Again, someone to give me the answer to 2 decimals. $11.0. We go to B. B is 5 plus 4 times 11 plus 23. You divide by 6. Good. Then on this side, it will be 23 minus 5. You divide by 6. You square this. or 9. Then we go to C. We go to C. It is 3 plus 4 times 8 plus 19. You divide by 6. The answer is 9. And then 19 minus 3. You divide by 6. Give me the variance. 7.11. Are you able to continue that way on your own? For the activities? Sema yes, nione. Good, good, good. So that ukishaacha space, nataka tumalize hii swali. Ni rahisi sana. Ni rahisi sana. I have 4 minutes to run away before they tell me I'm violating curfew. The next requirement in this question, tutaipanga namna hii, chora table. Here we will have the latest head time minus earliest tail time minus duration is equal to total float. Is equal to total float. Even this one, I will just do 1 or 2. Ika hivyo. Kama umefika hapo, andika there so that I can begin. Hapo umedesign, andika there. The word there. Yeah, good, 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 good. Zimekuja so once. So for activity A, the latest head time is the one they are calling the latest finish. The latest finish. This one was a very simple question. So the latest finish here minus the earliest tail. Hii ya kwanza wanaita earliest start time. Earliest start time, which is 0 minus the duration. Duration tunarudi kule ile tulikuwa tumepata. Ile tumepata kwa ile table tulikuwa tumepata 17. We had gotten 17. We had gotten 17 for activity A. So the total float should be what? The total float should be what? Yeah, good. 0. And let us go to activity B. Activity B, you do the same. Whether huko mwisho uchukue 29 minus hii ya kwanza, which is 17, minus kurudi kwa ile table tumetengeneza B, tulikuwa tumepata 12. So with that, again, we get 0. You go to C. When you go to C, utachukua 52 minus 29 minus C tulikuwa tumepata 9. C tulikuwa tumepata 9. What is the answer? That 2. I have D. Ukienda kwa D, it is 61 minus 29 minus D. When you solve D, utapata that 2. What is the Ebe anasema anapata 14. So this is 14. 14. Okay. Hii nayo tunapata nini? This one? Zero. So you will proceed that way on your own. You proceed that way on your own. And maybe I will comment about Roman 3 and 4 in the next lesson. I thought we could finish, but it's already 7. So let us comment about Roman 3 and 4 in the next lesson. So by the next lesson, so thank you so much. We pick up from there in the next lesson. Thank you, Abel. Boy, thanks.